Hey there everyone, Ramesh here back again with another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to do preparation for VMware Certified Professional certification for Spring and Spring Boot in 2022. Well, in previous video, I have announced I have passed VMware Certified Professional exam for Spring and Spring Boot. So you guys suggested me to create a dedicated video on how to do preparation for this certification, right? So in this video, I'm going to talk about how you guys can prepare or how you guys can do the preparation for this certification. Well, basically I have created this blog post and I have maintained all the information about this certification or exam in this blog post. Okay, so this blog post is basically a central place where you can find all the information about this certification. Okay, and I will provide this blog post link in the video description so that you guys can refer this blog post for for this certification. All right, well, what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to talk about two things. First, I will explain my experience on this certification, like how I did the preparation for this certification and how much time I took and how much hours I spent. Okay, and then I will talk about how you guys can do the preparation for this VMware Certified Professional certification for Spring and Spring Boot. Well, before getting started, I would like to highlight few very important information about these certification changes in 2022. Well, basically VMware had made some changes in the certification in 2022. Basically, you can see the certification page or the certification title over here, application modernization develop 2022. But if you can see the older certification or the certificate, you can able to see Spring Professional 2021. Okay, so this is how the certification was looking in 2021, and you can able to see the certification how it looks in 2022. All right, don't get confused with these changes in 2022. If you start exploring yourself, then you might get confused. That's why I highlighted this few changes that is made in 2022. Okay, great. Now let's first talk about what is this certification and who can take this certification. Well, this certification validates candidates' expertise with the major features of Spring and Spring Boot, and candidates able to apply Spring's feature to quickly build and deliver production-ready applications. Well, if you pass this exam and if you take this certification, then you are capable to apply your Spring-related knowledge to quickly build and deliver production ready applications. Well, you guys already know that how popular Spring and Spring Boot nowadays in the market, right? And having this certification is very useful. You will get a lot of advantages, guys. For example, if you mention this certification in your resume, then your resume in a high weightage, right? You will get a lot of interview calls, isn't it? So organization will think like you have good knowledge on Spring and Spring Boot, that's why you got this certification, isn't it? That's why you will get an interview call, isn't it? So having certification is also good. It shows like you have a good knowledge on Spring and Spring Boot. All right, great. Now I will talk about how I done the preparation for this certification as an experienced Java developer, and then later on I will talk about how you can do the preparation for this certification. Okay, so yesterday when I published this video, you guys also asked me a question like how you done the preparation for this certification. Okay, how much time you took and how much time you spent, right? And what are the resources? So that's why first I will talk my experience on this certification, and then later on I will guide you how you can do the preparation for this certification. Well, basically preparation is different for experienced developer and a beginner. Okay, so I am an experienced Java developer, and obvious that I don't take much time for the preparation, isn't it? Well, I have been using Spring framework for a decade now, and I have written around 1000 blog articles, tutorials on each and every topic on Spring framework and Spring Boot. Okay, that's why it's obvious that I don't take much time to prepare for this certification, isn't it? And again, I have trained many students. I have done teaching on YouTube, Udemy. So these teaching or training helped me to learn Spring and Spring Boot in depth and teach you guys in depth, right? That's why I already knew all the Spring and Spring Boot related topics, and it haven't take much time to me to prepare for this exam. Well, let me address your few more questions, like how much time you have taken for the preparation. Well, as I am an experienced Spring Boot and Spring developer, so it took me around 3 to 4 days to prepare for this examination. Okay, you might be wondering, like, only 3 to 4 days, how it is possible, right? Well, I already knew everything about Spring and Spring Boot in depth. Okay, basically teaching you guys on YouTube and Udemy helped me to learn Spring and Spring Boot in depth, and also writing blog on this blog website made me to learn everything about Spring and Spring Boot in depth. Okay, so I knew everything about Spring and Spring Boot. I just have to recap all the topics that are required for the examination. That's what I have done. I have just gone through all my blog posts that I have written on all the Spring and Spring Boot topics. And one more thing I have done, like I have gone through the Spring official documentation for latest and advanced topics. Okay, so it took me around 3 to 4 days. I just had a revision of all the topics that are required for the examination from my blog website and Spring official documentation. That's it. And yeah, so it's obvious that if you are experienced Spring developer, then you don't have to take much time for the preparation, right? You just have to recap all the topics that are required for the examination, and you just have to give some mock test to get some confidence. That's all. You are ready to give the examination, right? That's what I have done. I am an experienced Spring and Spring Boot developer, so I haven't take much time, right? I have took around 3 to 4 days for the preparation. That's it. And obvious that if you are experienced Spring Boot developer, then also you don't take much time, right? If you are a pro, or if you are a good in Spring and Spring Boot, then obviously you can give the exam and you can get the certification, isn't it? How many hours you spend a day? Well, I have spent 4 to 5 hours a day just to recap Spring and Spring Boot concepts, and I have just practiced few mock tests before giving the certification exam. Okay, so next question, what are the resources you have gone through? Well, first of all, I have written a blog, articles, tutorials on each and every topic on Spring Framework and Spring Boot. So I have listed over here. I have gone through all these tutorials quickly, and for advanced topics and latest information, I have gone through the Spring Framework official documentation. Okay, that's what I have done. I mean, I just revised what I have learned in a decade. Okay, it took me around 3 to 4 days to recap all these things and give some mock tests to just boost my confidence, right? That's what I have done. And yeah, so teaching helped me guys a lot to keep up to date information about Spring and Spring Boot. Okay, that's it. And few more questions, like have you referred any books and courses? No, I already knew all the topics for exams, so I haven't referred any courses or books. Well, next question, have you taken any mock exams? Yes, in order to get some confidence, I have taken few mock tests. You can see Spring Professional exam dump for practice. So I have given a link over here. You can just check it out. And important note here, so the questions in a real exam are different from the questions in a mock exams. Okay, your knowledge and experience help you to pass the exam. Mock tests are just to give you some confidence and some idea about like how questions come and what is the format of the questions, which kind of questions will come in a real exam. Okay, so your knowledge and experience will help you guys to pass the exam, because the real exam is not very easy. It's quite tricky, guys. Okay, and make sure that whatever you learn the Spring and Spring Boot related topics, you learn thoroughly. Don't learn at a high level. Alright guys, this is what my experience on this certification preparation. I haven't took much time for the preparation. I have taken 3 to 4 dedicated days for the preparation, and I have spent 4 to 5 hours a day to just recap what I have learned in my 10 years of experience. Well, now let's talk about how you can do the preparation for VMware Spring Certified Professional certification exam. Well, just I have talked about my experience, and if you are an experienced Spring Boot developer, then you can go ahead and spend some time to recap what we have learned in your experience, and then you can decide like if you are confident that you can able to give the exam, then you can go ahead and practice some mock tests, and then you can get some confidence, and then you can go ahead and give the certification exam. Okay, now here I'm going to talk about how you can do the preparation for this certification as a beginner. I assume that you are completely new for this certification. Okay, if you are experienced, then you may get idea like how I done the preparation, right? Well, if you are a beginner, then you need to first understand what is this certification and who can take this certification. Well, this certification validates a candidate's expertise with major features of Spring and Spring Boot, and the candidate is able to apply Spring's feature to quickly build and deliver production ready application. Well, as we know how Spring and Spring Boot are getting more popularity in the market, right? And there is no doubt that Spring Boot, Spring Professional certification, I mean, this certification is a industry standard recognized certification issued by VMware. All right, and this certification is very important for Java developers. Okay, and here are the exam details. Like you can see 50 questions. For me, when I attended exam, I got 50 questions, but these questions may change as per the VMware policy, and I got 90 minutes, and this may change as per the VMware policy in future. And passing score, basically you will get a range like 100 to 500, and passing score is 300. And cost, when I when I purchased the exam voucher, then that time it costed me 200 plus 36, I mean $200 for the examination and 36 as a tax. Okay, total $236 charged me when I purchased this exam voucher. Okay, it is around $250. Okay, it depends basically on the location. Okay, so these are the quick exam details just for your reference. And next, minimal qualified candidate. Well, basically VMware recommend you to have at least 6 to 12 months of experience on Spring and Spring Boot. Okay, and the candidate should know the major features of Spring and Spring Boot. For example, configuration, data access, REST, AOP, auto configuration, actuators, security, testing, and building microservices on all those stuff. But as per my opinion, guys, if you have a good knowledge in Spring and Spring Boot, even though you don't have 6 to 12 months of experience, that is okay. I mean, no one going to ask you like how many experience you have, right? If you have a good knowledge in Spring and Spring Boot, and you know all the exam topics, and you are confident that you can able to give the exam, then you can go ahead and attend the exam and get the certification. That's all. Well, let's talk about exam topics. Well, as a beginner, you have to know the exam topics. Okay, so just focus on these exam topics like Spring Core, data management, Spring MUC, testing, security, Spring Boot, and don't focus on other topics other than these exam topics, otherwise you will get confused. Okay, just go ahead and learn these topics in depth, and you will get a question in the exams from these exam topics itself, because these are the exam topics that are standard in the VMware certification guideline that I will show you a bit later. Okay, just focus on these exam topics. Don't focus on other topics like Spring Cloud, microservices, and all those stuff. Just focus on these exam topics. Okay, and these are the exam topics that that is from 2022. Okay, so these are the latest exam topics that you can take a look into. And you might be wondering like, do I get a questions on XML based configuration? Well, nowadays no one going to use XML based configuration. Every developer preferring Java based or annotation based configuration, right? So you don't get any question on XML based configuration. Okay, so this is a very important, guys. When I was exploring about this certification, I wasn't know like whether I will get XML based configuration questions in exam or not, but later on I felt like there is no questions on XML based configuration. Okay, I have mentioned these details for you guys because you don't have to focus on these kind of questions. Okay, and one more question, like, do we get questions about Spring Cloud and microservices? Well, no, you don't get question on Spring Cloud and microservices. Okay, because these are kind of advanced topics. And yeah, so just focus on the exam topics that I have mentioned over here, and these exam topics I have referred from the VMware standard certification guide. Okay, that I will show you a bit later. Well, if you are a beginner, then go ahead and start your preparation from this link. Okay, so let me show you step by step. So go ahead and type Spring.io in the browser and go to official website, that is spring.io, and go to training. Okay, and go to certification section over here and just go ahead and click on learn more. This will head over to the VMware official page, and look at here, application modernization develop 2022. So this is the change I was talking in the beginning of this video. Okay, so this is the change VMware made in a 2022. You can see the certification name, application modernization develop 2022, and this certification validates the candidate's expertise with major features of Spring and Spring Boot, and the candidate's ability to apply Spring's feature to quickly build and deliver production ready applications. If you want to know more about this certification, you can go ahead and download this PDF. Alright, and go ahead and click on this step 3. Well, basically VMware recommend to attend the courses, but in my case I haven't attended any courses of the VMware, so I have directly scheduled the exam and I have given the exam. Okay, if you are not interested in attending any courses that VMware recommend, and you can go ahead and schedule the exam and you can give the exam. That's it. And here you can see 90 minutes 50 questions. So if you want to know more about this exam, then you can go ahead and click on this. And here very important thing is download exam guide. So this is a very important, guys. So go ahead and download this guide, and here you can see all the things that you want to know for this examination. For instance, you can see exam details. Here you can see 60 questions 130 minutes. I don't know why they have mentioned like this. Here you can able to see they have mentioned 90 minutes 50 questions, but here in the guide they have mentioned 60 questions and 130 minutes. But when I was attended the exam, that time I got 90 minutes 50 questions. Okay, I think they need to update this guide. Next, you can see the exam topics. Okay, so all the questions that you will get in the exam comes from these exam topics only. Okay, so these are the exam topics, very important topics that you have to go through in order to prepare for the examination. Okay, so I have already listed these topics in my blog post. Okay, you can just refer this blog post as a central location for your preparation, guys. Okay, great. So once you know what is the certification, exam details and criteria and exam topics and also the guide, then next what you can do is you can go ahead and refer the resources. Well, it is always good practice to refer to the Spring Framework official documentation. So I have given a links over here for each and every topic to the official documentation. This is for Spring Framework, core, boot, testing, data access, MUC. Okay, you can go ahead and just refer these links to the official documentation. Okay, and I can understand that reading this big documentation takes a lot of time and it's kind of boring, right? So if you are a beginner, then I highly suggest you guys to spend some time on learning Spring Framework and Spring Boot with coding examples from popular tutorials, videos, courses out there. So you can get a lot of popular tutorials, videos, courses from the internet, right? So initially you can spend some time on learning Spring Framework and Spring Boot, and then later on you can go ahead and go through the Spring Framework official documentation for latest and in-depth information. Okay, so that is what I have done when I was a fresher to learn Spring and Spring Boot, and you can also follow the same process. If you want to quickly learn Spring framework concepts and Spring Boot concepts, then you can go ahead and check out my blog post, tutorials and examples. So I have listed links over here. You can go ahead and just check it out. And you can also find my YouTube channel useful, especially for Spring ecosystem related topics. And for Udemy courses, if you want to learn Spring Boot, AOP, Security Spring MUC, then go ahead and check out this popular Udemy course. Okay, you can just spend 500 rupees to purchase this course and you can able to learn all this stuff. And if you are a beginner and if you want to learn Spring Boot, then go ahead and check out my course. This is 10 hours free Spring Boot course that I have published on my YouTube video. You can go ahead and check out. I have explained all the Spring Boot features in this video. It will be helpful for the examination, guys. And in order to learn Spring Boot REST APIs in depth, you can go ahead and check out my Udemy course that is building real-time REST APIs with Spring Boot. I have shown like how to build a complete backend for blog application using Spring Boot in this course. And if you want to learn how to test Spring Boot application, then go ahead and check out my Udemy course. Okay, so these are the few useful documentation links, tutorial links and Udemy courses that you can check it out. And for mock examination or test, you can go ahead and refer this link. Okay, you can just purchase this simulator that is Spring Professional Exam Dump just to practice. So don't immediately purchase this one. You just need to learn all the Spring and Spring Boot related topics as per the exam topics. And once you are confident, like you can able to give the examination, then you can go ahead and first practice by using these mock exams. Okay, once you are confident that you are able to give the exam, and then you can go ahead and attend the exam. And you may have a question like how much time you need for the preparation. Well, if you are a beginner, then it's obvious that you need to spend more time on learning these Spring and Spring Boot related topics, isn't it? And I think most of the people's mention like if you are a beginner, you need to have at least 3 months to learn Spring and Spring Boot. Okay, so it's again depend, guys, how much time, how much hours a day you will spend on the learning things. Okay, and if you are experienced, then obviously, as I already shared my experience, if you are experienced Spring developer, you don't have to spend much time on the preparation. You can just recap what we have learned so far, and then you can attend the exam. That's what you can do if you are experienced Spring or Spring Boot developer, isn't it? Alright guys, so these are the few details that I have mentioned over here. So just go through these details for the preparation. So as a beginner, first you need to understand what is this certification and who can take this certification, and go through the exam details and then exam topics. As per the exam topics, you can go ahead and learn each exam topic, and you can get started with this link. Okay, and for resources, you can go ahead and look at these official documentation links over here, quick tutorials, Udemy courses, mock test exams. I have given a links over here guys, for you guys. Just go ahead and check it out. Well, finally, I would like to give you my advice as per my experience on this examination. Well, the exam is quite hard, guys, and it requires intimate knowledge of how Spring operates under the hood, and along with that, you need to understand the various Spring components and design patterns. Okay, and many of the questions in examination make you tricky because you need to select multiple correct options to earn a single mark for each question. Okay, it makes even more difficult, guys. And yeah, so my advice is like spend all the minutes, 90 minutes on the examination, and read the question twice or thrice, and make sure that you are choosing the correct options. Alright guys, this is pretty much I wanted to cover in this video. Let me know if I miss anything in this video in a comment section below. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.